tilt money come?
Before month end.
Before month end, that's all we can say, could be the very last day.
But the year's tilt budget money is finalized in June, the end of June, like now?
Mhm. For next
It's a
year,
hit and miss, it comes
For
from the
next year.
government for next
and
year.
that's why we can't go and do our public hearing and approve everything until we know what that dollar amount is.
That's the last huge revenue that's coming in.
And it usually doesn't show up till about the 28th or 29th of June.
Okay, but I thought last year, what the reason we pulled out of reserve to cover the 1.7 or whatever it was last year, because, okay, then we'll put that back in. And that's the number we're going to use for the 2021 budget.
And we did, we used it for 2020.
We used it for this year.
Yeah, this year's budget.
And so that's what we're going to use this year.
No,
Why not?
we'll use the actual that we get.
Aren't
This
we
year.
back- aren't
Next
we
year.
back to square one?
No.
then?
Well, because if we estimated for next year and just waited till the end of June for it to come in again, we're, like Colleen said, we're trying to guess at June 29th what we're actually doing for that fiscal year. This way, we get it this month, we put it into reserves, but that actual figure will be pulled out July 1st and put into that reserve line item. And we'll know to the penny what we receive for PILT next
We
year.
do know that we get at least we will have budgeted at least a minimum of last year's tilt, because that's what we
No.
have.
Well, we use,
Only what they estimated, we should
Yeah.
estimate.
we have to depend on that revenue book, and that is what hurt us 3 years ago, I think it was.
Right.
Yeah, the revenue book was like 500,000 a month. So it's always, the PILT is always,
Yes.
guessing game, no matter which way we do it. But at least the way we're doing it now, whatever we receive this month will be put into next year's budget as a guarantee to fix the revenue. We'll know exactly that that's what we have for PILT. And if it's long or short, then
So
we're gonna have to,
previous to last year's decision of doing that, we were always a year behind.
Yes. Yep.
we were waiting till June 30th to balance the budget, in all honesty, because if it came in short, that threw that fiscal year's budget off. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to understand, but this is a better way of doing it, Lloyd.
Well, it is better. I just thought we totally avoided any guesswork or any last minute changes. Like,
No.
like,
And the thing is we're not changing,
This fiscal year.
Yeah,
because
this
it's work-
fiscal
it's
year.
balanced. The one we're
so
still
when-
working.
When
in.
he tells you the number that we're estimating we have left, that's what we'll have left, because we don't have to wait for it.
Yeah, sorry.
We need to get going, guys, and then we'll come back to it on budget. Steve, you want to leave some budget?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Kind of a short agenda today, but a few things that we need to finish before the end of the year. And the first thing up is the vouchers. That should be the final run. You've received everything that you're aware of. Coming right now. Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the voucher.
second,
it's been moved and seconded to approve the vouchers. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Okay, vouchers are approved. We we've got a couple minutes, but the one thing I want to bring up here, we have been talking about budget and vouchers and this year, but we all received an email with pretty much an emergency in Scott Stewart's department. And I need a idea from you guys. Are you willing to go ahead and have Steve add that approximately $25,000 to the sheriff
Department does
retention?
email, we don't have to show it.
That's kind of what it sounded like.
What
So,
piece of equipment is it?
it's a kitchen stove of some kind, that biggie. Everybody okay with Steve going ahead with that then? Okay. Steve, thank you. The only other question that came up this week on budget, Steve and I talked about a little bit yesterday, provisionals. The current provisionals, we have a new provisional scale. We had said all that stuff would start July 1. Brian Edwards and Greg Pomershine asked about the current provisionals, if they move to that scale, so that when they hire new ones, the new ones aren't getting paid more than Is everybody on board with the provisionals changing July 1? The provisionals that are currently on staff, changing on July 1 to meet that rate.
No.
Steve, go through there and see how much that affects things.
Yeah, I already put it in, so.
Okay, thank you. I think that,
Chair, if I could back up real quick, we went pretty quick there through the vouchers, and I wanted for the records to show that I was, it's gonna pass no matter what. I'm sorry, but I needed to abstain
I should have brought that up and I was gonna, so,
Abstain from what?
from voting
Vouchers.
on the vouchers, the final vouchers, because I have an invoice included in that through my business.
so I will vote in favor. Sorry, I meant to bring that up before.
I did too, but I wanted I wanted to make sure it was there.
It is.
So I didn't vote
Got
verbally, because I was like, wait a minute, I was gonna interrupt, sorry, anyway,
No,
if
that's
that's
fine,
possible.
no problem. Okay, the next thing up is, Colleen, approval of the RFP for the Park County Health Insurance Consultant. I know that the commissioners, Commissioner Livingston brought it up to start with, and then we all agreed that we should go out and look for, at least do an update on
Even
the
the majority agree.
administration. Yeah.
Yeah.
My question is this, you all saw the RFP and, Mr. Skort has approved it. There are some questions through the insurance committee as to whether they should have been involved or should be involved, or we should give them a chance to weigh into it before it goes out. And the issue is, do we restart, of course, January 1 with a new health insurance year? It's gonna take about that long if we do change to get somebody on board. If we delay a month or two in getting this reviewed and done, then it could be July 1. So that, I guess, there implies the decision of what we want to do. Do we want to move ahead with the RFP? Colleen, anything I missed?
I'm aware of. I took Natrona County's RFP as a base point to start, because I've never done an RFP for insurance consultant before. Put it all together, changed what I felt needed to be changed, and forwarded on to Brian Scorik for his approval. He approved it yesterday with a couple changes, noting that in several places we put if any. That means we don't have to accept any one of the bids if we so desire not to. So those were basically the only changes he made from the Natrona County one.
So what is our anticipation for advertising?
Put it out July 1, have the bids back by September 1, bring before the committee, so they can make a recommendation.
Where are we advertising?
Where are we advertising? That's a tough one. So my best bet is, I mean, do you guys want to advertise across the United States? There's one link out there that I can put the RFP on for Park County, Wyoming, which will cover the whole United States. The second thing I can do is I can send an email to all the clerks and please ask them to share with the consultant that they now have in their county. And then put it on our website and advertise it in the Cody and Powell Tribune, or Cody Enterprise and the Powell Tribune. Rapid City if you'd like, Billings if you'd like. You know, I've not done this before, Casper. So I have no idea what it takes to put an RFP on that national site.
I don't know.
There are a number of insurance brokers in the area that cover a number of different insurance companies, maybe reaching out to them on, if they have any idea on how to reach out to the national groups, or maybe they have an idea they need to get in themselves.
And I reached out to our current consultant and he gave me a website, but like I said, I have no idea the cost or how you even go about putting that RFP out there on a national website.
But some of these local insurance brokers who deal with multiple insurance groups may be able to give you an indication or a good idea who to send to.
And do you know who the locals are?
I know that the old Nelson Group in Powell was our insurance brokers.
Sure, I like the idea, I like your idea of requesting that the clerks forward an email to their provider or whatever. So I like that, I mean, it's gonna be more, but you're dealing with Wyoming, and they know about that, that's exactly what we're looking for, so. I would think that with our local advertising and website would be enough.
Well, and you've had two consultants that have contacted you that want to receive the RFP. They're not both in Wyoming, but you've had two others that have contacted you that will send it to, correct?
Yeah. Okay. Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and then that guy out of Grable or whatever, I can't remember where it's at. Anyway, yeah. Yep, so I'll make sure that they both get it.
So are you looking for?
Any other thoughts? I don't know if
With the RFP?
that takes a motion. I guess I'm not.
I move, we move forward with RFP advertising as planned.
I'll second that.
Okay, so moved and seconded to move forward with the RFP at this time, with the advertising as was discussed.
I'm gonna vote in opposition. I would in opposition to it from the beginning. I wait this time. So I understand.
Any further discussion?
I guess I want to weigh in the fact that I feel that through our procurement receipt policy, the amount of money that it is costing the taxpayers is something that we should explore and then from time to time to make sure. And that's the only reason I'm fully support, not that I'm unhappy with what we have. I'm just saying that we need to make sure that we're
that's
adjusting.
Have we ever done this before?
not with it. Not for insurance.
You know, back in the day, I honestly don't even know how USI was chosen. I have no idea. There's a lot of records that are missing, so the only thing I can tell you is they became involved when we had issues with the other health group that we had. And so USI, like I said, I have no idea how they were chosen, but they stepped in and helped us get that cleaned up and money back from the issues that we had. And so, and I know, I believe it was 2011 when we signed on with USI.
Yeah, Scott, the only thing I can add to that is the fact that years ago, the county did not have a control. And all of a sudden, they didn't have anybody that was watching the health insurance, and they were $3 million in the hole in there. So they had to make this huge transfer out of reserve. And then they decided to bring these people up. And to me, this, and I totally understand where you're coming from. To me, this is a prime example. If it ain't broke, don't mess with it. These people are charging the same amount of money year after year after year after year, do a fabulous job. And my fear is that we go out and if we do hire somebody, they're gonna come in, have a very steep learning curve, and could open up a lot of problems. That's all.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to go out with the RFP? Say aye.
I
And those opposed?
Opposed?
Passes. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is Treasurer Bart Foley.
Thanks for listening. I've mentioned a couple times we're really struggling in the treasurer's office with the overflow and the increase of workload. I don't have a good answer. In some of the meetings I've been sitting in, you guys have mentioned provisional employees. So I had Bobby run me a spreadsheet and a provisional for 750 hours. Just to kind of, I really would like to ask for a part-timer, but I know in the budget, we really need an extra part-timer. But right now, that would add quite a bit to the budget, I believe, or even changing our part-timer to full. So I'm looking at maybe trying to do a temporary one provisional. And what that person would be is, we have a lot of paperwork and we file and we there's a lot of backroom maintenance that takes away from the front line and from carrying stuff. What I'm hoping for is if we could find a high schooler or someone that wanted to work a couple days a week and do a lot of the paperwork, that we can train them on to keep that office running. Now, is that gonna give us the answer I'm looking for? I'm not sure. I'm looking at all options. An example is Laramie County. I talked to them yesterday. They sent out 13,000 renewals. We sent out almost 5,500. They have 9 full-time staff that do just motor vehicle. That's, I think, the growth of the state of Wyoming. They also have a total of 17 staff that take care of motor vehicle and their taxes. Our staff, basically, I have 5.5 on that front line, and they take care of all of it. So if you look at the comparisons, the staff is starting to get run ragged, and I don't have a good answer right now. So this was an option I was asking for to see if we can get someone hired, intern, office assistant, and I sent you the cost. It was around 10,500 to the budget. This would be additional, but they have no benefits at all from my understanding. I'm looking for some options because we really are struggling to keep up, even fully staffed. Lloyd.
Chair, I really like the idea. I think it has potential to really save us and help fill some needs down there. Are you considering more than one as they're basically going to be like a substitute? Have you considered past employee that already have somewhat experience that
And she was
would be
not,
willing to come in? Or so are we looking for one individual or multiple
I think
to fill in
one
when as
would
needed?
be better. We were hoping for one of the past that had the tax experience. However, she resigned because of medical issues, and I talked to her the other day and she's not able to. So we're looking at having to train from start, whatever we do.
Trying to get just one then?
Yeah, I think so. I figured that's only like 14 and a half hours a week. If we averaged it out per week and did like 750 hours.
My concern is that one may not be available when someone's on vacation or so, you may need a backup. And if so, my question is, we had 2 on the books. Does that create more paperwork downstairs for Bobby, or is it? I mean, it's gonna save us as opposed to a part-time.
Right, correct. I mean, in all honesty, I haven't sat down and figured out exactly. I don't even know if I can find someone to fit this bill. That's my biggest concern is there someone out there that wants to work 14 hours a week, or whatever.
How many applicants do you have currently right now trying to get jobs at the treasurer's office?
I have none right now at the treasurer's office.
So they're looking for the exciting world of paperwork.
That's why I was hoping to find someone that maybe doesn't want to deal with the customers, that could honestly help. Even if they could come in and do the deposits in the morning, that takes a good hour for the bookkeeping staff. Or we have what's called green sheets. And every time there's a buy and sell, we receive a sheet from every single title company, every single bank. We have to go in and manually change the address in the system. That can take hours a day, and you know how much property is turning over. So if we can get some of that paperwork, I'm hoping maybe it'll help on that overflow, or the girls will be able to focus more on the customers. But right now, is this going to help that front line? I'm not sure.
Is this abnormal not to have applicants?
Well, I haven't put anything out, so I don't have anything right this second. Yeah, and it is unusual. I always used to have 1 or 2 bite me at the door. If you ever have an opening, Barb, let me know. So it is unusual that we don't have any applicants.
You also, for vacations, I suppose summertime, that's when a lot of your employees want to take vacation, or hunting season. You have to decide when vacations are and such, so this would be
That really
another
is.
thing you'd have to keep an eye on. And if your provisionals also will be available during.
Right, and that's a iffy on if we do it this way. It was just an option that I thought maybe we could try and see if we could work it out, and if it doesn't, I might be back here trying a different avenue. I mean, I'm open for suggestions.
My suggestion would be I would approve this on the case of more of a word of mouth advertising and or on our own website. If you have something in mind, I feel more than I know because what I hear is hard to find employees. And I
Right.
think that advertising and spending $200, $300, $400 in multiple papers and trying to find someone at this is not gonna appeal to anybody. So if we can fill this without doing that, I would support it. I don't know until we know if it works. I hate to spend a lot of money.
And I usually go through the workforce center and then I do the cheap ads that are like $5 to $10 in the Cody paper. I've never done the 500 to 600, just so you know, I'm cheap. I am. I mean,
Well,
word of mouth is the best way to go. However, I'm just not sure how we're gonna fill it.
I know.
Madam Chairperson, if I may, along the lines of what Lloyd was first talking about, I mean, we did it with a landfill. We told Greg, go out and find a pool of provisional
Okay.
people, so, you know, depending on what the schedule is, you can always get one of them to work. But my question is, if you were able to do that in the treasurer's office, you still have to bring each individual one in and train them, wouldn't you?
There's not a good answer. I was thinking, there isn't a good answer, but I was hoping for, even if we had two, but even one, we can train and Carrie and Annie could train on a lot of the inputting and stuff. We could set them in the back, check the school districts. Every single registration you guys get, and everything, every renewal, every purchase has a school district on it. We have to ensure that district's correct for the distribution of the funds that month. So someone has to double check all that work. So if we could get someone that, maybe has the experience of being in that type of position, but just wants to work a couple days a week. I'm probably not looking at filling them in during all the vacations and stuff. We just have to work through that. And, it's too hard. It takes about a year to train someone. So that option it's hard, but I was hoping that we could maybe work this. We'll see how it goes. It might not work.
Chairperson. Pauline, do you have any applicants that are waiting for a clerk's job, or are you at zero also?
No, let's see, we ended up receiving 10 applications for 3 positions.
Maybe
And we
if you
believe we
could,
may have all.
This could be a foothold or a way for somebody to actually maybe go into the clerk, start your treasurer's office and at least get into the Park County employee system.
I think I can honestly say out of all of those 10, they were all looking for a full-time, permanent
well,
benefited job.
if maybe you just mentioned, well, we have this gig opening, if you
And
want to do part-time to start with.
to give her some ideas, maybe she wants to check with Bobby and see who we have on the provisional list right now.
Okay. I
I'm,
did ask.
public health, I know.
I
uses
already
it.
asked.
Okay, so that's.
And
the
she
one.
doesn't want any more hours. I already asked the gal that's working a couple days a week for help, and my understanding, she didn't want any more hours.
Either way, I would move to approve Barb to find a provisional or provisionals to assist her in the treasurer's office as long as we're not spending a lot of money on advertising for that position until we know whether it'll work. Is that okay for motion?
Moved and seconded to approve the request. Any further discussion? None, all those in favor?
Aye.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And I'll let you know.
Yeah, First Deputy Clerk Hanzodi for a 24-hour malt beverage permit.
Madam Chair? I'll just present from here, if that's all right. Thank you. What I have here is kind of a last minute deal. The Stampede Board got a hold of me last Thursday, I believe it was. Said, hey, is there any way that we can get a malt beverage permit for next week? This being a special meeting, I received permission from Chairman and Vice Chairman for to place this on the agenda. So here we have a one day malt beverage permit for Cody Extreme Bowls kickoff party. It's at 2631 Highway 20 East, actually. it's south of town. It's east and west town, except that it comes out from Columbus from the east. Anyway, it's at the little arena south of town here. I checked with the sheriff and he doesn't have any problems with this. They check out on our end for your consideration.
The one day only.
One day only, June 30th.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move to approve a one-day malt beverage permit for June 30th for the Extreme Bowl and Lounge Tournament.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Now, at the time. You're right.
So back right on.
Well,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. This would be Mike Connors, IT with the BLM communication site.
Good morning.
I have 2 copies of this permit, is that? You want?
Yeah, so 50 years ago, literally, the county needed a communication site, so they applied to the BLM and got one up on Cedar Mountain. 50 years later, now is now gone. In fact, this they gave us a lease. Lease is basically free, doesn't cost us anything. We're exempt from any fees since we're a government entity. So it actually expires on the 28th this month. So we got all our ducks in a row and got the application. We changed a bit, we got it all submitted, and they got the paperwork back to me now and asking us to sign it. I've been through it. It's the same form they send to everybody on the planet, but at least there's regular space for them, so there's not much in there that's really wrong or anything else after going through it. So it's just a matter of a formality to get the lease going. New leases are only issued for 30 years, so this one will be done in a little bit more than 30 years. I think it's 30 years in December is when this one will expire when it's done. So and it allows us to keep our radio site up on Cedar Mountain where it does its voodoo. So. And I could sign it, I suppose, but I figured it's probably better if the board, chairman of the board did.
Comments from the board? Questions?
I'll move it approved.
And it's close enough to the deadline or whenever it's signed, I'll hand deliver it. Second.
I was gonna let the radio guy do it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve signing of the lease. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you so much.
I will sign my.
Yeah, give me a holler, I can grab it. We stay in this.
Okay. I think that concludes our agenda business. I think there's a little bit of discussion, just an update from Steve.
Yeah, I'd like an update from Steve on where we stand. I know you haven't run the final voucher yet, but it's up there.
After final vouchers, we have payroll still to come through. Expenses would be about 300,000 to the good for carryover.
So 300 carryover. Yeah. What's that gonna do to our bottom line on the budget?
Right now, we're looking at about 100,000 to the good.
Oh, okay.
Just the revenue carryover is 3.5 roughly. We still have 2 more weeks of revenue to come in, but most all of our big stuff is the attorney reimbursement, the big rents, all that's big stuff is in. So I don't look for a whole lot more. Again, the only thing that could throw us a little off track is if the PILT does not cover on that what they have estimated for that. So we got about 100,000 to play with.
Okay. Any other questions?
The only question I have is in between now and we have a meeting the 6th, correct?
Yes.
We're not, so we will have exact hard numbers on the 6th.
For the hearing on the 12th.
Are they?
For the hearing on the 12th.
For the hearing.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna be here.
Right, but we will have
But I was gonna request some hard, but if we're gonna have them by the 6th, I can wait. I mean, obviously you don't have them yet, but
Yeah, we'll have, because, I mean, the revenue is kind of the driving force of the carryover we'll have this year.
is it possible, Madam Chair, to at least have on the agenda, at the end of this part number discussion at the end of the 6th?
Sure, that's already on there.
And already, thank you.
That'll firm up what we need to know before the hearing.
Madam Chair, so I have one question on the budget message and everything that I do. Do you guys want to look at that before the 6th or just look at it before the 12th? If you have a preference.
If you have the message ready before the 6th, it'd probably be easier if we had an opportunity to see it before the 6th, and then you'll know.
Yeah, basically, I think I have it ready. I'm just waiting on the numbers, final numbers, but switch them out in the final message. So it. So the message, I just. give it to my doctor.
Into it, okay?
Thank you.
Anything else?
I got a quick question we're gonna visit with mine. After.
Not
Okay,
official.
yeah, I'm just wondering, is this pertaining to personnel? You can actually call a executive session.
That's judgment call from the circle.
I would say yes at this point because of what we're dealing with. So, yes,
Call an executive.
personnel. So do I have a motion?
You just call
I just called, okay. Okay.
Yeah, pause this.
it. Turn it off.
Right, it was,